resident. They're an associate resident because they're always with me. Wavy and Chingo have a studio right here. This is actually Phil McAndrew's studio. He's an illustrator. But he wasn't going to be here this weekend, so I just asked him. His setup was pretty small, so I was just like, if we could use it, because I have the big shared studio down in the end, so it's like we bar in an area off where it wouldn't really make sense. Allison Cortez also has a studio next door. So it's been a great program. Our residency ends in about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's been...
Yeah, it feels like it just started.
Yeah, we got it in November, so it's been a crazy 5 months already, everything's going.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Welcome to Vague Questions. I'll explain a bit of the process. So there's gonna be essentially 4 rounds to what we're doing right now. So the first 2 rounds are just pretty standard, like Rorschach, ink blot test stuff. There's gonna be them on all the TVs in front of you. It's all gonna be the same image displayed amongst them. You're just gonna be telling us what you see as you go. You guys have control of the slideshow with the remote. If you want to just give us a test, like click forward and then back would be good. Cool. So it's gonna be all at your own pace, but the first 2 rounds will just be ink blot tests. Do either of you have any problems with flashing lights whatsoever at all?
Not exactly. No.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
Is it okay, the refresh rate of these?
Yeah.
There's the third round typically, Silas does some like visual work with the images, and then it would be more like glitch-y type stuff, which would be like a rapid fire kind of telling us what you see as you go.
More stream of consciousness.
More stream of consciousness. So as long as you're okay with visuals like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then, so me and Silas would be in the room through all that process, discussing your answers with you. And then for the vague questions, which would be the final round, it would actually just be you 2 in the room, alone in the abyss.
Okay.
And
We are prepared for the abyss.
yeah.
We've been alone
You have
in the
me-
abyss
you have
all
me-
morning, haven't we, here?
Yeah. You 2 are actually the first couple that we've had this weekend, so much less alone in the abyss than most people.
Okay.
And who else to do it with?
Pulling you into the abyss.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
And that should be all. Yeah. And then we can begin by just stating what you guys see here.
I see like a weird fat cat kind of mobster type guy with a hat and sunglasses. Kind of like the Penguin in Batman. But 2 of them. Weird on the side.
I see a marching procession of nutcrackers from like the ones that it's kind of coattails open their mouth. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Cool.
going. Ooh. This is much more like a monster. Like an insect. Kinda screaming.
Like something
like a giant praying mantis.
like something between like a Cthulhu and like a pornographic scene.
Ooh. This one's a bat. So the day after the eclipse, it was really beautiful out, and I walked to Fitz Books from our house. And as I was passing that giant mural that's kind of like on the side of the theater district, like on, what street is that? I don't know. But anyway, it's like the cool kind of abstract mural. And there was a bat sandwiched between the wall of the mural and the sidewalk. And it was just sleeping on the ground, which is like so weird.
Remember that.
That's what that makes me think of.
To me, this looks like the moment before like a drone smashes into like the side of a building or something like that. Like some last flash before the crash.
We've had a lot of people say that one had remind them of explosions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. This one. You go first.
This feels like one of those split brain experiments where they separate like a corpus callosum and the two halves become individuals.
Yeah, like a hall of mirrors. Like where it's really just one of the images, one half of the image, but it feels like it's kind of being infinitely projected. That's like the forest spirit.
Mm-hmm.
The
Like
Miyazaki movie.
Like the
Princess
Miyazaki.
Mononoke.
Yeah.
I actually, yeah, it's my favorite, and I never thought of this one as it, but just the facial ratio is very, very
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
yeah.
Yeah, like that sense of being in between something kind of spooky, destructive, and something super beautiful.
Yeah, and it's saying like, go on. Two hands, like leaning in. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Should we keep going?
yeah.
This one is like swan's wings to me.
To me, it's like two plump couples riding like, what was it called? Like the Tunnel of Love or something like that. There's some kind of ride that's hovering between like love and horror or something like that.
Yeah. Also kind of like some sort of weird
Mm.
moth to a flame kind of vibes too for me.
Mm.
Yeah. Or like a, yeah. It also reminds me of kind of images where the couples are so close in their embrace that they become like a kind of rounded shape.
Mm-hmm.
Or pair of conscious cat teeth, the last in the mouth, with like empty nester syndrome, like
Conscious Cat Teeth is
Looking
the band I would like to
like-
play in.
they're like worn down, like the last kind of chalky teeth looking into the like throat
Yeah.
of like the cat.
The little
or
dots in
something.
the middle do like look like the roots of teeth.
Yeah, a little bit.
I like this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The first thing I thought of was like an abandoned railroad with like the train still on the tracks, but stuff's like growing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm floating down the Niagara River and there's that weird building that's the water intake for the city, something like
Oh
that.
yeah. Or like a river on fire.
Yeah, like Apocalypse Now kind of.
You're about to be part of the intake.
Yeah.
About to be part of
Intake,
intake.
yeah.
Yeah.
Intake would be a good title for an artwork about a bunch of questions, like, you know,
Because
before
you're
you,
taking in so much.
Yeah.
and when you like, I imagine
And
when
when
you're
you-
being committed or you're being
Yeah.
like to do
True.
intake, or when you
If you
start
need
a
to
job
commit us at
as
the end of
well.
this, you know.
Intake.
We're not looking for mental defectiveness. It's not that kind of Rorschach test.
Yeah.
I've already got enough of that.
Yeah.
So.
Intake is a good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Kind of
This is
feels
like the water
industrial,
intake.
high volume, a
Mm.
lot of things
Mhm.
flowing in and out. Police station or a mental hospital or something. Yeah. Cool.
I like the crossover with water.
This is like fascism.
Yeah, this is Nazis.
Yeah.
Reichstag.
Yeah.
There's usually a hesitation before people answer, and I think it is because their first thought is like fascism, and maybe they don't want to say it immediately.
I think it's okay for us to be able to recognize.
No, I agree.
fascism
That's what I think. It's good to say. I think they're like worried it'll reflect on
Yeah.
them, and it's like no, it's pretty clearly like a
It's
big.
like, I'll go even more specific. American Trans Am fascism or something like that. Like some like hood ornament of a
I don't know, like
out of work pipe fitter who's turned to the dark side.
Also, just like the middle of the Nazi flag.
Yeah.
What is the name of the popcorn mascot?
Orville
Redenbacher.
Redenbacher.
Yes.
So
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's
God.
like, is am I thinking the right thing? That like,
Orville Redenbacher was a
Are you talking about the
geriatric.
Peanut Man?
maybe I'm talking about the Peanut Man.
Come on now, you gotta get your snacks right.
I have, it's like that snack man with a top hat and a tailcoat.
That's the Peanut
That's
guy.
Mr.
The peanut guy.
He's got a, yeah, I don't know.
And a cane.
They've both been depreciated from snack culture.
I think that they actually killed the Peanut Man.
I think they did.
Yeah.
I think he's back. I don't know. He's a Smythe, isn't he? I think his full name has Smythe at the end. There's like a weird history to the Peanut Man.
Yeah, I mean it's not good, probably, whatever the history is, but
I think like an 8-year-old drew it. Like it's not like that bad, but it's just like weird. Like they gave him a really long last name that has a lot of like, yeah, interesting ties.
I wonder what the association is with the Peanut Man and then fascism, since they're right next to each other.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
Well, monocles.
I mean this is like, yeah, like a kind of dark, I see like a dark kind of ball happening here with chandeliers and people dancing and this kind of dignitary in the middle with a many faces.
I see many-faced top hat, like maybe like a minister with a bolo tie,
Yeah.
kind of, but like the chandeliers, yeah, these are nice.
Mhm. Yeah, they are nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I see like high-rise buildings, high-rise apartments, and in the middle, some kind of giant demonic nun walking down the street like a balloon in the Macy's Day Parade.
I see architecture, but maybe like after an impact or an explosion or something.
Yeah, that too. Like ruins. Ooh.
Possum.
Awesome. I was gonna say a crocodile in a tuxedo. I like possum though.
Possum Lord,
Possum Lord.
wearing like
All hail
Large.
Possum Lord.
large robes, sort of looking down his long nose. He's acting like maybe under the robes and swimming with children holding on, something like that.
Yeah, well, you know, possum, the only North American marsupial that have children in its pockets.
Sure.
I see a pencil. A pencil in the midst of its shavings.
I see one of those like long boats, that, like crew boats, that's going through a trash gyre, like the tip of it.
When I see something like this, I think of butterflies, butterfly wings. The fritillaries are back. It's been warm enough, and I've been seeing some of them get torn up, and you see like a wing or two, and it's like half of the pattern.
Reminds me of that example, that image in like a textbook of like a moth showing how air pollution, like
Oh
the
yeah.
moths that stand out.
The classic story of moth evolution.
Yeah.
Do you all know that story?
It's like they're brown and gray, and like
Yeah.
it's like the brown ones could blend into the trees and the gray ones couldn't, and it,
Yeah.
or like vice versa.
Yeah, something
that.
like
Very
that,
quickly
yeah.
they evolved
Yeah,
to
they're like,
match the
"That's
city
the
trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like as
Yeah.
like as cities and like people moved in, they're like, oh, this is the new color scheme
Yeah.
that we gotta
Yeah.
work with.
And then when they cleaned up the air and started power washing things,
They got lighter.
perhaps they're forced to continue to evolve. Maybe there's like some moth that's evolved like to have the pattern of like
In oils.
a discount sticker.
That would be great. Yeah, like it looks like a sales sticker.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
a receipt.
Yeah. Everything must go moth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Two rabbits visiting the king.
Mhm. Or like a pair of Harmony Korine reenactors ringing a doorbell.
That's good. Ooh.
Heads for hands.
A dark mother rabbit and her two kidnapped human children.
Like that.
Raised by rabbits.
Yeah, raised by rabbits, yeah.
Spooky.
This feels like cellular, like a kind of cross section of some like paramecium or something like that, or canals, something.
I was gonna say the eyes of a crow skull, but you can't see the beak.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Looks kind of skeletal to me.
Mm. This feels like a close-up of a dysfunctional hourglass. Like an hourglass meets like a smart bomb site or something like
I was gonna say a mustachioed man in a mirror suit.
that. Mm-hmm. I like that.
That was the last of that round of slideshows. We're about to go into another round. It'll be pretty much the same process. These images are just produced in a different manner.
Good.
I see like a smiling little creature in the middle
Mm-hmm.
with a large beetle sitting cross-legged.
Mm-hmm.
Where you see like the beetle.
In the dead center.
Yeah, like a fat manta ray headed,
Yeah.
like with tiny little meatball hands.
Yeah.
And then his knees kind of coming out from under a coat
Yeah.
with a kind of pinched little smiley face kind of.
Yeah. Kind of like the happy Buddha smiling.
Mm-hmm.
These are so moth-like to me. Like they're so like Luna moth-like. And also like the way like out west canyons are carved.
Mm-hmm.
Geological strata of sandstone.
One time I went to a Jiffy Lube and they put oil in the windshield wiper fluid.
It looked like that.
And then I drove home.
You'd think they would know, specialize in the,
You would think.
in the lube.
This is like an ice cave with a sunken ship inside. And the prow is tipping up, but the rest of the ship is still trapped in the ice.
You can't spell love without uvula.
What? This again super moth-like, but I'm also seeing like the heads of deer, like does
Mm-hmm.
on each side. The way they kind of look at you sideways, and their ears.
Feels like maybe like a headless caped figure, something like that.
Like a crown.
A little bit, yeah. Or like the collar of a.
She's gone with a man in a long black coat.
That's good. I like that. this feels like the lowering of a. It's like if Frankenstein was the story of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster were rewritten more about like topiary sculptures or something. So like the head's being lowered down onto like a pin quill neck before the reanimation process happens or something like that. Like a scarecrow head kind of thing.
That's just really fascinating because the person that did the interview before you said that they saw a head coming off. So it's interesting you see a head coming on, sort of a glass half full situation.
Yeah. I don't know. This one I'm very torn, like, if just how to see it. Like, it could just be, like, one giant creature, and the gray kind of triangles on either side are the eyes, and the little dark kind of nose piece in the center. But I also kind of see, like, a chandelier and, like, a series of kind of military-looking people in armor. Ooh. These are owls to me. So owl-eyed in the center. Yeah. Like the kind of ear tufts too.
Feels kind of like a totem, like a vertical stack of different animal spirits. Some of like the top one kind of feels penguin bird-like, but I also see kind of a gray wolf. But they're all kind of compressed, like into a club sandwich totem pole of different.
I like the eyes.
A lot of eyes looking at you. It feels like a Francis Bacon painting, like a kind of dark banquet or something like that.
I see dark banquet, but I also see, like antennae and almost like a dancer with a crown. Or a king.
You would have a dark queen.
Or a king on a throne with like a kind of curtains around.
We're really bringing back the monarchy.
I know, I don't know why. I see like a candle flame in a lantern.
Like a sconce or an ampule, like something ampule, like a kind of one of those pinched glass things that like something precious would be stored in.
Yeah, like up close to a fire or a light. I see a bat with this one. Or a fox. Like the bat nostrils, you know? How they're kind of fuzzy. Yeah. I really like the bat nose.
Bat nose. Or, like a child putting a fork into an electric outlet, like the thing that they would see right as they're
Right before.
right as they're being
Fried.
fried, like
Yeah.
like seen through the eyelids.
The last thing they ever see.
This feels like an image of a brain to me. Like a slide of a brain cell. Or like a boat, like the prow of a boat real close up. Like a kayak.
Could be the prow of a boat or a piece of the ham, like that Spanish ham that has the bone in it in the leg, and
sliced ham.
like they put some terry cloth towel over it, like some bougie bullshit kind of thing. manta ray crotch. Like some.
I was gonna say like an experimental fig leaf. Yeah, it feels like a crotch shot.
Like a bottom feeder crotch.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, like this round, the painterly kind of images are
Yeah,
very distinct.
this is like a bat overlord, a dark. Or weirdly, also like a sort of pastoral village on a cliff.
This is like what I would draw if I could go back in time when I was a kid and they would do the lice checking through your hair and it always
Oh.
felt so good. This is like what I would like draw while experiencing.
While someone was combing your hair for lice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really specific.
I get what you mean with the way it like moves up.
Yeah.
And it has like that motion to
Like
it.
Always
It feels
imagining
massagey.
what it was very intimate and then you'd imagine like what is it they're looking at?
Mhm.
Like I've never seen
Yeah.
my own head
The top of my
this
own
way.
scalp. This also I feel like is like a kind of ectoplasm ghost kind of creature.
Mhm.
Similar sort of forest spirit.
Yeah.
Like kind of like goopy ghost like.
Crime scene ruin, like from a dark
Body
detective
lined in
show
chalk.
that people watch on some paid streaming service or something.
Yeah, like how David Lynch would depict leftovers from a spirit creature.
That's the last of the slideshow images. So Silas is gonna begin to make some live images. This won't, like I said before, the clicker won't be necessary. Just tell us what you see as it goes.
A running yeti,
A running yeti. I see a bird flying.
grimacing lizard overlord.
Zebra stripes, kind of flashing into my mind, but also like airplane, kind of like airplane crash in snow. I like the spiral. I love that spiral image when they do it in movies with the news. And it reminds me of that. It's kind of an interlude. Oh, that's skull and teeth.
This feels like The Visible Human, you know, this project where they took a inmate, froze him, and sliced him up to see how the tissues move through.
Wait, what?
It's
It's awful.
Like a famous human anatomy science project.
Yeah, these smiles. It's almost like a terrifying clown. But I like the circle. I think of cell mutation and the lantern. Or like polar landscapes where there's really high contrast.
Like echolocation.
A plane being shot down. Like a dinosaur's eye. Like a Godzilla eye.
Like a Mandelbrot postage stamp.
Yeah, like an Escher drawing or something. Like knees on a beam infinitely into the abyss of repetition. These are cool. I'm reminded of when I would go over to friends' houses and there would be like screensavers on their computers and they would leave them on. And I never did that because our internet was connected to our phone. So
Dazzle camouflage, World War II, painted boats, but now.
I think of a chameleon's eye. The flashing of like a photograph maybe.
James Bond intro.
Oh yeah. Like yeah, turning on the lights in a big space and you can only see how big it is in flashes. I just had that feeling of like going off the road in a thunderstorm. Oh wow. Yeah. These are wild. Like a drop falling into a pool. Like when they really slow down the mechanics of a single water droplet.
These are like psychedelic, like patterns that I've seen before. So
I feel
they're like things you can't share, I guess.
Well, I mean, you
Or
could.
you could.
Yeah. I've had my fair share. It's
Yeah.
okay. So
What are we talking about? I do have a wire on, by the way.
Yeah. This, anyway, wait, you're a cop.
Huh? I can't say that.
I'm way too high for that. I'm just kidding. But anyway, we're gonna go into the thing you came here for, the vague questions. So me and Silas are gonna leave the room.
Okay.
Like I said, the void, both of you will go into it. I'm just joking. I'm trying to think of new things to say during my spiel, essentially. So I'm like, I'm really absorbing this void thing, even though it's unnecessary. But
we're okay with the void.
we're okay with the void. But
We've
there's-
learned to befriend the void.
There you go. But there's about like 40 questions or so. So you can take as much time or as little time on each one as you like. I would just suggest like so the questions don't have a topic. So you have to like sort of like try to think of like similar to the Rorschach test, whatever the question brings out of you, some memories or anything. Try to attach that to the question and talk about that. If there's a question that's just totally uninteresting to you, like it's fine to be like, whatever, and then skip it. If there's a question that brings you onto a full conversation that turns into 5-10 minutes, embrace that as well. But at your own pace entirely. And
Cool.
if you want to just give us a test click real quick. Did you? Yep. Okay.
Nice.
And then we're good.
Those
So-
were really cool. Kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it, the animations or the
Yeah,
they were
it's
beautiful.
all live feedback,
Yeah.
so it's just
Yeah.
adjusting like the X, Y, and Z axes of things a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I really enjoyed looking at it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, those are cool graphics.
Definitely come to one of my shows where I do visuals. I don't know, it's
Cool.
like that but with
I'll-
music.
I'll probably perform, and then I also do the video. But thanks for coming for you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks. World do you live in? What was it from Full Metal Jacket? It says, in a world of shit, Joker.
We live in I live in a world of contradictions these days. It's complicated.
Okay. Yeah. I care.
I care a lot.
Sometimes it feels maybe like too much.
People who care are really good to have around you. Well, I think it's been happening slowly over a very long period of time. But no one told me that, dark political forces would happen so slowly. Try not to fall into apocalyptic thinking, but I didn't think it would be slow. There's so much I like about them.
I like that they come to the door every time I come home.
Aw, yeah, they're the best.
They are the best.
I love that.
One of the few consistencies.
When you have cats come to the door, cats and dogs. Oh my gosh.
tried
Can
to
we
get
talk
there.
about punctuality though?
I tried to get there early, but sometimes it's a battle.
I was never there in time. I was never there in time before I met you, and now I'm on time for everything.
You're not on time for it.
You've made me a punctual person.
How could I say no?
I do think I sometimes say yes too much, but it's hard to close yourself off sometimes. I don't like to walk around being closed off.
I'm finding it easier and easier every day.
Oof. Being there for them. I really want to be there for them, but sometimes I don't show up in the way that they want. And then it's hard to adjust in time. Well,
Why
why did you do it?
It's my job.
I don't know why I did it. I think I kind of thought that it would be different,
Mm-hmm.
but then when I realized what it was, I kind of freaked out a little bit. And then, yeah, the next question is, are you okay?
No. Very, very far from being okay.
I think that I'm okay. Oh man, I try to offer so much.
You gave it all away. You didn't keep any for yourself.
But I like to offer choices to people, to give them feedback, but
And it's a gift, not a gift. That's a good question. I don't know who they are. I have my theories. I have my suspicions.
Hmm.
You know a thing by knowing its opposite, something like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, regret is such a tough thing for me. I wish I didn't wake up thinking about like embarrassing moments that happened in the 6th grade and feeling like really intense regret about it.
No, this is not it for me.
I never really have that question, like, is this it?
Too final.
Yeah, like, I don't really show up that way. What do I see?
An unbroken chain.
An unbroken chain of human sorrow. This I know to be true.
What's the John Prine lyric?
Yeah, that's close.
The train. What is it?
From Bruised Orange.
I see bruised orange. What do I like about it?
I really like, well, I like so much about it. I like living here. I like being with you. I like having a weird little garden. I like having Saturdays slowly starting to return.
I like slow.
I like moving slow.
I want
Yeah.
to move slower.
Did you do a good job? I don't know. I feel like I never really
It's good enough.
think that way either. Yeah, my mom likes to ask me if things are good enough.
What did you do?
What do you do?
What do you do? I will not say.
You're not gonna say.
Mhm. You have to ask.
Do you have a guilty conscience?
You have to ask. I think we live.
How do
This-
you participate in capitalism? I used that line once at a dinner party to push back at someone who was asking me that question, and they did not like it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mm,
Pretty different. Different depending on each day.
I'm different than I was.
Different than I was how?
What's the point? Mhm. What's the point?
These are existential questions. I mean, if you don't like what you're doing, then I think that question's very valid, because
But there's
humans don't live very long, but we're good at making art while we're here.
there's being dull, and then there's the point. The point.
The sharp being
The sharp.
sharpened.
Yeah, don't want to be.
That's right.
You don't want a dull point.
We have to try to be sharp.
What do you think the way you do? If you have to ask.
Wait. Can I hold it for a second? I think that the question, who are you, makes me disassociate. Because it's too complicated.
Like spending time with you.
I do like spending time with you.
Like spending time with our dogs and cat.
Mm-hmm.
I like making art,
Yeah.
and I like a limited number of people. Spending time with a limited number of people. Small group of people.
I would like to sit and eat a fancy lunch with my dogs and cats seated at the table on little chairs, like in a children's book. Are you pissed?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little pissed.
Is that 'cause it's Saturday morning?
It's a variety of things.
Better not ask any more about that. Are you scared?
Mm.
Often, but you know, that's what the Dune litany is for.
Must not fear.
Must not fear.
Fear is the mind killer.
Fear is the mind killer.
Fear is the little death that seeks total oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
Its face my fear.
Mm-hmm.
Allowed to pass over and through me. Then
Yeah.
I'll turn my inner eye to see its path.
I didn't know you had the whole thing memorized.
My fear is
You
God,
did?
never been up. Only I will know.
I'm really scared. Right now.
You are?
I mean, watching the news.
We're not watching the news. We're in this room. Answering questions.
I'm not physically scared. Say what? Was it the right thing to do? I think that it was.
Only time will tell.
Time is what you need to answer that question.
Are you there? Sometimes I feel like that little bubble in a level moving from one side to the other. It's not about arriving, just sort of being an
Mm-hmm.
indicator
assessment. I mean, I think if you look at the long time scale of the Earth, like investing greater hubris and, you know, human ability to achieve immortality through work is a false proposition.
When the Lord returns, raptures everybody. What's different? Hmm.
I mean, every day something is a little different.
Yeah.
Now that I'm in my late 30s. And I don't know how to feel about that. Turning 37 feels substantially different.
It's like comparing a slice of processed sandwich meat to a terrazzo floor. Because saying no is like a superpower.
When I was a child, my mother asked me what the magic word was, and I said no, and I still stand by that.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. So do you see it working out?
One time when I was working out, I saw the arms of an elderly woman lifting more weights than I possibly could imagine myself lifting.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's hope for the future.
World Health Organization.
World Health Organization. Are you here?
Constantly trying to be present.
Yeah. I'm not very good at being present sometimes, but I'm trying to
We
learn
gotta work on both
to
of
be
us.
better. Yeah, I'm not good at slowing down. But I love place.
I want to tell them. Nobody knows. We could get hit by a frozen piece of airplane waste at any moment.
I thought you were gonna say a piece of frozen pizza. How long until we get hit by a piece of frozen pizza?
We live in Buffalo. Why did you stop?
I have never really stopped. I think that I pursue things until I am done with them, and then, especially in my work, I run out of emotional attachment once I've let it go. It's in the world. But that's the only time I ever really stopped.
I stopped because I was full.
You stopped because you were full. I like,
Was it wise? Not yet.
I struggle with the idea of wisdom. Oh.
Guess we're done. Right?
Can we talk for a second about wisdom?
Mm-hmm.
Was it wise?
When I was in middle school, I created the Book of Wisdom.
That's right.
When Caleb, the son of the pig farmer, was stamping out the letters and the leathers, the binding of it, he wrote Wisdud.
Wisdom. Was it wisdom?
Wisdud. He felt very bad because it was the last letter in the title, so he had to try to stamp Wisdom.
I think you
Wisdud.
said wisdom to me before, but I didn't know that that was the origin story.
It is.
I think that's really beautiful. I believe in wisdom.
Like Wisdud.
Wisdom. Lest we get too far ahead of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, should we leave it at that?
Thank you, Boyd.
Thank you, Boyd. We talked for a little while.